This past year, our daughter started kindergarten. And prior to kindergarten, she had been at this preschool that I can only describe as magical. So they had a running creek that they could splash and play in. They had a tree fort. They were allowed to climb on top of it and even climb the trees in the playground. And so movement was a really natural part of her day and something that was really actively encouraged in everything that she did. Then she starts traditional kindergarten. So at her traditional kindergarten, there's 15 minutes of recess every day, and it's a very different schedule. So the first week of school, they start everyone off on half days just so they can get used to the new routine. And that very first day, I go to pick her up, and I ask her, I'm like, hey, honey, how was your day? Knowing like the whole new world, right? And she looks at me, hand on hip, and she said, well, let me tell you what I can't do. So my husband and I knew we were in for like some sort of adjustment that was happening. And by day 3 of that first week, we realized like we have to take this kid out and get her moving and make her as active as possible so that she can feel comfortable. So it's day 3, her and I are on a bike ride, and we're still on our street. So we had just started, and I recognized that she's like dragging behind me. So I'm like, what's going on? So I circle back and I'm like, hey, what's happening? And she was like, Mama, my legs hurt. She said, I think it's all that sitting. I have to sit for morning meeting. I have to sit to color. I have to sit for lunch. I go to the bathroom. I even have to sit for that. So we knew, like, oh yeah, here it is, right? Take our 5-year-old daughter, meet the rest of the world, where for the next 55 years of your life, you will spend most of your day sitting. And what I find so very interesting is that, if you see young kids playing, I hear adults say this all the time to my children. If I could only have 1/10 of their energy, if I could just bottle that up, right? Here's the deal. We can, right? But we have to do what they're doing. We have to use movement. Movement is by far one of the most powerful stimulators we have of energy production. It helps deliver oxygen and glucose to the brain so we feel better and we perform at a higher level. And so this is what we need to start to incorporate. But yet, what do most of us do during the course of a day? That's right, sitting. Do you guys want to stand up right now? Does that make you inspired to stand up? So we do. We spend all this time sitting, and research is showing us that this is slowly killing us. That sitting for more than 6 hours every single day is the equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarettes every single day. And yet most of us are sitting on average about 9 hours, right? And so it's one of those things that we're spending all this time sitting, it's slowly killing us. And you might be thinking, no, Kara, that doesn't affect me because I'm that person that's in the gym at 6 a.m., right? I'm out there working out, hitting the gym, hitting the weights, making sure I've got myself covered. But research also shows us that even 1 hour of exercise is not enough to offset if the rest of your day is spent in sedentary behavior. You will still have the same health risk. So I don't want to keep on delivering the bad news. Let's talk about how do we change this. How do we incorporate movement so we can get more out of life, so we can feel better, have more energy, and perform at a higher level?